What is going? Look at what the heck is going on. What is going on with the blurriness? I had to go ahead and I had to leave the background. Sorry, I was trying doing the blurry background or the virtual backgrounds and everything, but um but I went ahead and I had to cut it off. My camera seemed to be having a little bit of an issue with it. I'm not sure why. But thanks for everybody coming up. Dami, how you doing, brother? Thanks for being here. Much appreciated. Hello, Hunter. How are you? How you doing, Johnny? How's all everyone? How is everybody doing? Shawnee, what's happening? um, so like I said, I was supposed to have a guest tonight. Unfortunately, they had to cancel. It's a guy who is uh he has a new business model for the hobby of trying to match up sellers and buyers, and he was having a little bit of an issue. I think it's a newer company. He was having a couple of issues that he wanted to get ironed out before he comes on the show. So um, we will go ahead and get him on. Come up here next week. Matty Ice, how you doing, buddy? Um, Next week we'll not have a guest. Then the following week, the week of November 18th, the show is moving to Tuesday night, the 19th. Why is that? Two reasons. Number one, we're going to have a guest. We're going to have Louisville Sports Cards on as of right now. Titus, what is happening, buddy? Unless something goes ahead and happens with them, and they really only do Tuesdays. Plus, Wednesday the 20th is my wedding anniversary, and I'm not a stupid man. So, and then after that, man, we have episode number 100. Got to figure out what to do for 100. Um, I don't know if we could go ahead and maybe get maybe if we can get 10 people in the live broadcast or 15 people in the live broadcast, maybe we could do a two team free break. I don't know, we'll see. Don't count, don't a lot is going to depend on how many people can go ahead and get here. But today, happy release day, happy Stadium Club Day. And because of release day, and I was looking between district and YouTube and whatnot, um, there is there's a lot of breaks going on. So I wanted to talk about breaks. Now I know, um, you know, in the card community, we kind of, we don't do expensive breaks, and we kind of play nice, right? When Dom's in there, always tries to get the Mets. When Matty Ice is in there, he's always trying to get the Cubbies. When Sean's in there, a lot of times he's trying to get the Astros. So we kind of, like I said, we kind of go ahead and we kind of play nice. So my question really about breaks is, would you get into higher dollar breaks if it was worth it from a money perspective? Because we all know that the truth is, a lot of the times when we go ahead and get into breaks in the card community, we do it more from a standpoint of we want to get the cards just for our team, right? So if I'm going to spend 35 bucks on a spot on a break, if I could get my team that I PC, so much better to do that than to go ahead and buy a box, for $35, and then you might not even get anybody from your PC. No, I'm talking about actually, well, I mean, first we're talking about buying in, and then we'll talk about, doing and everything, but from a buying in perspective, right? You know, how many people buy in because of looking to cash out? Now, I know, John, massive night the other night in Allen and Ginter. Completely different story. I think Allen and Ginter is a little different to me on that one. Is one of those ones where you do buy in, and if you can get the non-sports like John did, you can go ahead and really cash out and do very very well. Um, but if it's a product like Stadium Club, if it's a product like Topps Chrome, you know what are what are you looking to do? Is it, will you only get into that break if you can get your team, or do you look and see, hey, if I could get in, I want to get this team because I want to try and get the couple of the rookie hits or get the big hit, and sell it. So what is it that you guys, are trying to do? With me, um, it all depends on what has happened, who I'm breaking with. Now, why do you say that? Well, because if I'm breaking with John, or if I'm breaking with Arnie, or if I'm breaking, with, guys that are in the card community, we will freely go ahead and be able to get our teams. So if I get into a stadium club, a couple of stadium club, breaks, and I'm able to get, the Mets. Well, if I break outside, if I'm going to jump into a break on whatnot or on district or something else, I'm probably not going to want the Mets, unless it's I mean, depending on if it's random team or I could pick my team, right? I'm probably not going to want the Mets if I'm trying to get there. Then if I'm breaking, whatnot district, if I find a break on YouTube, Instagram, whatever it may be, a lot of times on those, if it's not with the card community, I'm actually trying to get a team where I think I'm going to be able to get some money out of it. List those cards, and and go from there. Right on, it gets cards to flip as of right now. Not trying to collect as much, maybe a soda or a will clock here and that. Right. So I mean that's ways to do it. Like I said, with me, what I will pretty much do is, first time, you know, I see it, I'll go for my team. After that, you know, a lot of times I will look at the checklist and see what the checklist is telling me. And if the checklist is telling me, hey, team A has a potential of, 50 different cards, well, then I'm going to lean towards team A, as long as it is at a decent price. Why? Just so I can get cards back. I can get some good money, out of it. I'm not going ahead and wasting per se and getting, a lower end team that does not have a lot of, that doesn't have a lot of cards. It doesn't do me any favors to, let's say, try and get a team that, you know it doesn't have any cards or doesn't have enough stars in it. Now a stadium club is kind of, a stadium club is a little different, and stadium club, in my opinion, is different because you can, um you know because you can get stuff. You can get older guys. You can get, if you get the Yankees, you can get Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and Mickey Mantle. If you get the Mets, you're able to get Tom Seaver, and some older other guys. If you're able to get, some of these other ones. So, you know, from that standpoint. Hello, Kenneth. How are you, sir? Hope all is well. From that perspective. A lot of that, in my opinion, that's what that boils down to. You need to, that's what I do. Like I said, I will look around and I will see, I know there's a bunch of people who have been, getting on whatnot and trying there. And I guess for baseball, be- because I don't know if you're going to get that big, holy crap, massive amounts for cards. Um, I probably wouldn't have a problem with whatnot, but when you look at some of the other sports, I don't know, man. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I know. There's a lot of bad people on whatnot, but what I will say is that there are a lot of guys, a lot of ones you hear about where they don't ship cards, and from that stuff, we definitely do hiring stuff, but I'm way more into collecting than selling. Right. Excuse me. I'm trying to sell, but having a rough time. Yeah, I mean, it's the selling perspective is not that um it's not that easy. You know, because I mean it's just not. I don't I don't know, like, I mean, I look at some of my stuff and it's weird, I sell $2 to $3 cards all day on eBay, but it seems with me that 10 to $15 card, or actually even higher than 15 bucks, those those don't seem to go ahead and sell as quick, or even as often. I'll like I said, I'm not as consistent as I should be on eBay with it. So and I'm trying to do more like get as many up as I can and trying to have more of a quantity up there to be able to get cards back out. But, you know, I don't know if I sell 50 cards a week, 60 cards a week, whatever the number is, what 95% are the lower end, the $2.50 and less. And it's not like I don't have other cards listed, but I just don't know. I don't know why. So two PSA 10 cards on eBay and lost about 80 bucks. My plan is to send it to a popular consignment house. That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. From that standpoint, yeah, I sell trade my LCS more than eBay. I have a feeling to wait so long to get your money now on eBay for higher end cards. Like, yeah, I personally, you know, I, I personally, in my own humble opinion, I am a little nervous at times to sell higher end cards on eBay. I mean, I do have some higher end some higher end stuff, but man, I'm not you know, I'm just not going ahead, and I'm not doing as much as I should there, you know. Since DC Sports Cards Program concept. Yeah. I agree, Dom. I mean, it definitely is the way to go. Definitely is a good idea to you know, to use those. I mean, when you think about it from a standpoint of, I'm not exactly sure from an eyeballs perspective, how many people, let's say, go, oh, I'm just going to go to ComC, I'm just going to go to both places. I don't know, like I don't know what they do. I don't know if they market cards and stuff like that, but I mean, hey, in reality, what do you have to lose? From that standpoint. If them putting it on their website, you know, I don't know, gets you, 20% more, even with the commission you have to pay them, at least you're going ahead and getting more out of it, than if you try and sell it, on your own. I've always personally, I've been a little skeptical of trying to put again higher end cards on eBay from that standpoint. You know, always wondering, hey, am I going to get scammed? Am I going to send a card and somebody's going to, complain about, not going ahead and receiving the card, or hey, this card has a ding in it, and so on and so forth. So from that standpoint, it's the risk worth taking, I guess, in the long run, but it is a tough risk to go ahead and take at times. From that standpoint. You know, I look at it from a thing of is, I I look at it from a standpoint of is I rather go ahead and get something rather than nothing. Um, you know, with those places, if it's just a matter of packing it up and send it to them and they do all the pictures and all the other kind of stuff, I mean, I don't know, that might be, that might be worth it, from that standpoint. Uh, in my opinion. Me, I still have the scanner. I still scan, cards and stuff. And then just try and figure it out from there. But I think, like I said, but that, going back to, breaks for me, you know, I break two different ways. I break for PC cards or teams. Hello, Mr. Dupree. How you doing, sir? Um, from that standpoint. And again, there are times when if I've gotten into multiple breaks in the same product, then usually those other ones I will go ahead and try and, uh, really try and get a team that, has potentially can get some value out of. Maybe they have a couple of good rookies. But a lot of it has to do also is how fast you're going to get them sold. Nothing against nobody, but if you join a break on a Monday and it takes, 7 or 8, 10 days to get you your cards and you're trying to sell them, and they're just, they're base cards or some numbered cards. Well, if it takes you a while to get them, then it's going to take you a while to get them listed. Do you miss out? That's the only bad thing about doing breaks if you're trying to go from a resale perspective. If you're trying to do a resale, if you're trying to get into a break and then resell those cards or sell those cards, not resell them, but if you're trying to sell them, then you really need to have them in a hurry. Because it's that first to market type thing, right? All the people that have, that are selling, you know, uh stadium club. A lot of those guys who maybe went ahead and bought boxes when their LCS opened up this morning or they got shipped to them, and that's what they're doing. Bang, they're going ahead and, ripping them just to rip them and then go ahead and get them listed and get them up on eBay and just, every single card, no matter what it is, whether it's base, whether it's, a numbered card, some kind of parallel or whatever it may be. That's what makes my LCs being so close to God different. Well, I agree. I agree. It makes it definitely makes sense if you have that relationship with your LCS and they are willing to go ahead, and offer you a fair price, you know, go for it. And then there's all things, I look at from a standpoint, depending, I might give, if I go to my LCS, which I haven't tried it yet, but not like I have, massive cards to go ahead and sell. But, you know, if I were to go and I got into a break and it was, $40 a spot, $50 a spot, and you hit a card that's a few $100, you might give your LCS a little bit of excuse me, um, you might give a little bit of a break to your LCS, for a couple different things. Number one, to go ahead, and keep that relationship at a good, working order where they're willing to deal with you, right? They say, hey, you know what? This guy comes in, he leaves meat on the bone for us to go ahead and make, and you go ahead and you can make out also. I mean, that's what you want to do. You make that relationship with your LCS, and John, with what he does. That's a great point. How many people actually, try and have that relationship with their LCS to be able to sell cards? And look, it's not like you're going ahead and selling them base and all the other kind of crap. Yeah, the Tim Robinson card, he showed him a pic, he offered 675, boom, sold, right? So there's a card that, a couple of pictures, hey, do you want it? Yes, it is. I'm gonna get it, 675. And people are gonna go, well, man, 675, holy cow. What I mean, if people knew who Tim Robinson was, right? But let's say that is an $800 card. Let's say it's a $900 card. I don't know. You don't know what it's going to be worth. But if you get into a break at 50 bucks a spot and you pull that card, I mean, and you sell it for 650, that's a nice payday. That's a excellent turn return on investment. That is one hell of a come up, from that standpoint. Yeah, Usain Bolt, that autograph has to go. Yep, right. You got to leave them some meat on a bone. And again, it's not like you're going ahead and you're not taking a loss. Or it's not like you bought it for 6 and they're selling it for 675, right? You got it in a break, and that's the one thing about breaks. You you do go ahead and have that opportunity to do that. Since I found out the guy I worked for was racist, I stopped going to LCSs. Saved me. Well, that sucks, Dom. That is terrible. Um, there's no need for that, in the hobby. I mean, that makes absolutely 0 sense from a store owner's perspective. That actually is very stupid. And hopefully there are more people like you who don't go to that guy and don't give him uh, you know, don't give him any of their hard-earned money. Excuse me. Very thirsty, very thirsty. He was putting in a few hours each week. Oh, nice. Get to rummage and got solid deals. Yep. I mean, that is, that is one of the advantages of being able to, to work and pop in at a LCS. He cashed out. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's a tough one. I mean, that's definitely, that's Tom. Sorry about that. Saw a message pop up on the computer. But I tell you, I wish, the sad part about, breaks is especially when teams are up at an auction, when it's pick your own team, you look at certain things and they're priced all over the place. And there's some people that do pick your own team, or they put each team up, and, it is PYT, but it's PYT with an auction. And that makes sense uh, to do it. Right. My heart's too big to charge people. Watch. I hear you, man. I hear you, Dommy. Weekends invaluable. You know, um, but I mean, it's crazy, when you think about, some of this product that is coming out now that people are breaking. You look at, like, the WNBA, and you look at what some of the teams are going for there. I mean, look at basketball. I mean, Wemby mania, and what's crazy about it is there are still a bunch of breaks going on for that product, and Spurs are going for a crap ton of money. And I think the market's getting saturated with Wemby. I don't think the value, it's like with a lot of those unbelievable stud players, right? The value cranks up in the beginning. It's getting high, and everybody's trying to get in it, and it's like, hey, you got to be first to market. You got to be first to market. You be first to market when there's 1 or 2 cards out there for a player, a hot player, or, whether it be a rookie, whether it be somebody else, when it's a hot player, when there's only a couple cards out there, there's that FOMO, that's the fear of missing out. But when there's a lot, there's no fear. Then it's a matter of, well, I'll just wait. And if I can get one, I get one. If I don't, I don't. Kicking his ass about our deal with Ginter. You want to what's your average take home from a typical break after buying the boxes and shipping? Do you mean when I was doing rip and ships or when I was doing like the larger breaks? You know, I kind of have regret as well. We didn't do something for him down the road. Also, you just have it done. Also, could you just done as you bought the box? So I don't, with me, honest John, I mean, when I ran my break, like Artie was talking about with his breaks, I mean, I will be honest with you, like for instance, if you look at the last one I did, the draft break and everything, um, I came out even at best. You know, um, you know, I was my problem the way I've run them, unfortunately, with trying to run them for the group that we are was to A, not take advantage of anybody, and B, is to not have it be open for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks to try and get it, sell it out quick, and um, from that standpoint, that's that's me, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't, um, even with the rip and chips, with the rip and chips, I was, I don't I don't look at the cost of the materials as far as penny sleeves and top loaders and boxes and tape and bubble wrap. That's, a business expense. I don't look at that. But even with the rip and chips, when you consider a lot of those blasters that I was selling for 32 bucks or 33 bucks, I was probably paying 25 to 27 bucks. So you figure if I was selling for 25, if I was buying it for 25, with shipping is what? $4.50, so I'm at 29 and a half. So I'm making, $2.50, $3. To me, it was more about, being able to, open up and everything. And that for me personally, I kind of never looked at um uh from that standpoint. I do. I did swap out that jumbo box for the hobby box. Well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. So if people think I overcharge my prices for most, if not all my breaks, I might. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that but I think, but unfortunately, John, what's great about the card community is that we have an audience that will fill our breaks fairly quick. What's bad about having the card community is that we can't be like a breaker on Whatnot or a breaker on District or a breaker on Loop or whatever website is, right? Because we don't want to take advantage of our friends. Because if all of a sudden, if you wind up, if I'm doing a break and it's, let's say, the Nationals, and the guy's like, man, I'm gonna pay out the ass for the Nationals because I want to hit a Dylan Cruz, and all of a sudden I don't hit a Dylan Cruz, or all I hit is one base Dylan Cruz, I feel like crap. What's up, Lockin? Traded it for a hobby box. You know, from that standpoint. So, you know, the sorting, the separating, the all kind of stuff. I mean, that's honestly, I mean, a lot of times, that's therapeutic and stuff. But from a break perspective, I'm a different kind of breaker. It's like even when I was talking to the guys over at District and everything, and I was saying, look, number one, I'm not going to be doing this. This is not a full time thing for me. I'm not trying to look to make a living on this. This is about, giving guys and girls, good deals. Do I want to lose money? No. But if I do a break and a break takes me an hour and a half and I make 30 bucks, I'm okay with that, to be honest with you. I really am. But that's just me. I don't want anybody else to go ahead and be that. Yeah, see, and I don't understand that why, John. It's a new product. Like I could understand if you were trying to go ahead and all of a sudden do, tops update, but why people aren't buying a I mean, I don't get everything. Yeah, me too, Lachlan. I didn't expect that at all. From that standpoint, it's a cool product and everything, and it's a newer product. Like I said, I can understand some stuff, but I want to be on. I mean, you know, to call it like it is. I think there are some guys and girls that will buy into certain people's breaks no matter what. And there are others who will not for whatever reason, you know. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to buy into everybody else's break, but you know what? That's the kind of stuff, that happens. That's why, like with me, with certain breakers and stuff like that, you know what? If it's for a cause, completely different story because I'm supporting the cause. But there are certain breakers throughout that I've been involved with across the board, whether they're in the card community, whether they are in other discords that I am in. I mean, there's a lot of other breaks that I've gotten in and that were little ones that were brought up in a couple of the discords that I'm in. And for me to buy in there and then me to run a break and not even get one of those people to go ahead and come and buy, that's a different type of story. Again, if I was doing it to make money, completely different story. But I'm not. I'm just trying to have fun, give people a great thing, from that standpoint. Ooh, an advent calendar. Oh, yes. That's what I mean. Yeah, no, no. It depends on the cause and everything. And I've been involved with breaks that I thought were for one reason and they wound up being for another reason. And to me, not a good idea. I shouldn't have gone ahead and gotten into, I should not have gotten into that break. But that's okay. That's okay. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Things are going to be, what they're going to be and stuff. I mean, I feel bad, when guys are putting on, on card sales and stuff like that, you know, and I feel bad, about not buying, when people put card sales on. But the truth is, excuse me, I mean, a lot of times, I have a lot of the spare cards that people are buying and stuff like that. But again, when it comes to breaks, I'm just being a little more nitpicky, if you want to call it, I guess maybe. You know, um, about who I'm going ahead and who I'm, you know, who I'm breaking with. And it's not just going to be anybody anymore. I mean, I don't think I don't, and I think that's the way things should be. There are a lot of people that they break with a whole bunch of, oh, let me give this person a try. Oh, let me give that person a try. I think you got to be smart with who you break with. And I understand, you know, everybody who starts out, needs a helping hand and everything. Like with me, still the marketplace that I'm going to be doing breaks on, um, has a bunch of other breakers already, right? So again, I don't know whether it's smart, whether it's stupid, whether it's being too nice, or not, and not, or it's being too nice, or it's not being a jerk. But I said, hey, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I would love to do a break on a day that works great for me. I think that would be awesome. Hey guys, my time is this day at this time. That's what's going to work the best for me. Well, there's already people that have that time slot. I don't want to be the new guy and come in and try and go ahead and put a wedge in that community. That's stupid. Why would I want to do that? Right? So that's why you haven't heard anything about, district yet with me, is because I'm trying to figure out what what nights are available and what's going to work best, for me. I mean, for instance, if Saturday night's not going to work for me. So if that's the only night that it is available, well then it's not going to work. So I might have to say, hey, you know what? Okay, can't do that. um, you know, I don't know. Maybe 6 o'clock on a Tuesday. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna have to delay dinner. I got to break at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday. But I don't want to do one of these. Hey guys, when you look at, there are guys that go ahead and they'll try and run 5, 6 breaks trying to fill. I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend 6, 7 hours, on a live stream. It's not what I want to do. It's not what I want, how I'm trying to, to make money or anything. Maybe I will talk to like 6 guys and the six of us can do a break. Yeah. I mean, split the price of the product and say, hey guys, guess what? Here's what it is. It costs me, I don't know, $300. You know, it cost me $300. So it's going to cost, with the amount of product and everything, it's probably going to cost about $6 or something to go ahead and ship. So each guy, there's 6 people. Each guy goes ahead and gets, 5 teams. It's going to be and it's going to be $60. So it's going to be $12 a team. Yeah, you may not make any money on it, but you know what? You're able to go ahead and at least have some fun and rip a whole bunch of cards and have a great little live and a great interaction, with everybody. Uh, from that standpoint. You know, but breaks, they're not as easy to run as people think they are. They're not. It is very, and it's odd at times, but it's not odd at times. Like for instance, for me, I know between like the people that are here, um, the people that are in the card community, if I post on that Discord, if I'm trying to do football and basketball, yeah, there are certain guys that I know that are gonna buy in. Why? Because it's me. And I appreciate the crap out of that. And I am humbled that somebody would say, just because of who you are, I'm going to go ahead and give you some money so you can pull some cards to me. That to me is a very humbling thing, from that standpoint, you know. But I know that overall, from the card community perspective, football and basketball aren't going to sell. When I started doing the rip and ships and everything, I was like, man, it's going to be awesome. I mean, I had football product and basketball product, to be honest with you. If people would have looked for what they could have bought those boxes for, and I'm not saying that was going to rip massive hits and everything, but if you looked at it, you know, it was damn near on some of those. To be honest with you, I was below what you could buy them on eBay for, but that's okay. I decided to do that. I didn't do that for any reason other than, I was just trying to move product to go ahead and get something out of something that was just sitting on a shelf. It had nothing to do with I wasn't trying, I don't want to take advantage of anybody, you know? It's like, if, you know, it's like having a break if somebody has a live show during that same time frame when you know what they have. It is what it is. I get it. And I don't want, again, I'm not saying I am not someone who deserves any kind of respect just given to me. I hope as a breaker that I can earn respect. It was one of the things that I'm hoping about, with district. Again, not that I'm going to do it a lot, but hopefully when people see that I'm running a break on district, they're going to go, you know what? Hey, that guy's at least honest. That guy goes ahead and and ships out cards in a timely manner. That guy protects the cards well. I love the way he ships so X, Y, and Z. Everything that's all the good things about breaking. That's what I'm trying to go ahead and do. I'm not worrying about, going ahead and making it a career. It's the last thing I want to do. I'm not looking to go, "Ooh, hey, let me set myself up as a breaker over the next 12 months. So if I decide to retire one day, I can do that as a living." I don't want to be tied to that. There are guys that do this for a living. I am happy that they do it, and they can continue doing it. You can make a lot of money doing, being a breaker. You can when you see how much is out there. If people were not making money, you would not have people sitting on Whatnot all day long. You would not have people sitting on District all day long. You would not have LCSs running breaks on all day long. You would not. So there's money to be made. And then you, as a consumer, there's money to be made for you also. It all depends on why you get into breaks. It's that friggin' simple. Yep. I'm the same way. I try. That's why that was the one good thing I liked about doing for the card community, on a Friday night. That was one of the things that I liked was that it gave me a couple extra days to at least make sure that everything went out on a Monday. Right. Look at Stryker, right? He quit his, and that's all he does. And he has built up that audience. He has done it in such a way. Him, Jabs is another one, right? Hey, Ben, Midwest Box Breaks. That's another guy. What have they done? They've done it smart. Stryker does a great job. You know, he also has, for lack of better words, a captive audience, right? Because most of the time, I think the only way you can get into his breaks is you got to be a part of his, his little club. The same thing with Jabs. You got to be a part of the club. So they kind of get you twice because they charge you a monthly fee to get in the club, and then you're able to go ahead and get into the breaks. You know, how much money do you make? I don't know. It depends on the product. It depends on how you sell it. If you do a solid just $1 figure random team, those are hard. Those are hard. You can't sell in my opinion nowadays you can't sell a random team at a high dollar because what's going to happen is it's going to be very difficult because people are going to get that like if you said to basketball, right? You can't say, "Well, hey, man, you might go ahead and get the Spurs, so I'm charging $75 a spot." Yeah, but then you get the Atlanta Hawks, who have nobody you want. Screw it's tough. Right. You get money from the Patreon, you get money from the break, and that's awesome. If you can go ahead and you can build that community that way, and you can get those people to come in, that to me, that's what you need to do as a breaker. You know, there are guys who don't care who they break with. There are guys who care who they break with. There are guys who, hey, I will break with a Leighton. I will break with a backyard. I will break with Blez. Yes, I know I'm going to pay money. I know that I'm going to pay a good amount of money to get into a baseball break with Blez, right? I have to join a club or nothing, but I can get in. But I know I'm going to pay a lot. But you know what? They open up a ton of product. The chances of getting hits are better with them than they are if you were to go ahead and get in with me. But the truth is, where they may charge you $200 to get in a break, I may charge you 25. So what are you willing to gamble? Because that's all breaking is. The bottom line, when you come all the way to the bottom line, is breaking is gambling. It's just a different form of gambling. And it's no different than going to the slot machines, no different than playing poker, although poker might need a little bit of a skill. But you know what I'm saying? It's a game of chance. I looked over Chomps a day ago to buy in there, and then I saw a case of A&G. Non-sport. Yeah. Non-sport was 205. I saw somebody who had non-sport. They were doing a case of A&G also. Their non-sport was $300. $300. Now, if you hit a non-sport autograph that is, like a Usain Bolt or like a Tim Robinson, or if you hit, one of those, that's great. But I mean, if you don't, you know, where's the value in those cards? Right. You can hit big, but you better hit. At $300 for a non-sports spot, you better hit or you better hit, I don't know. You don't want to hit, the comedian one of one, right? You want to hit Bolt. You want to hit, and I mean not comedian like Tim Robinson, who's an SNL guy, but like, you hit some comedian dude, right? You know, you want to hit somebody, you don't want to hit the actor. You want to hit somebody who's going to be worth it, where you can go ahead and pull some money out of it and get your money back. Because the truth is, if you're going into an Allen and Ginter and you're doing non-sport, to me, you're really pinpointing a couple of players or a couple of athletes from other sports, or maybe an actor, or somebody who who's big, but you're not going ahead and going, oh, hey, who's this guy? Oh, this guy, was an actor on a soap opera. Or this guy was, in a B movie, right? You don't want anything like that. You want something that's going to be worth it. You want one of those dinosaurs cards, or yeah, you want Caleb Williams, Jalen Daniels, Usain Bolt. You want something like that. Yeah, one of those DNA relics. That's what you want if you're buying in an A&G, and you're picking up non-sport. You're not sitting there and hoping for the flag cards. You're not sitting there and going, "Ooh, man, I hope I get Albania, or I hope I get Kentucky." No, it's not what you're doing. you know, you're really pinpointing, and to me that was That's way too steep in my humble opinion for it. That case was definitely insane in the membrane for Johnny, which is awesome. Very happy that that is what what happened for you, John. I mean, that was really really cool. you know, but that's what happens, right? Big ass gamble, big ass gamble, and it paid off. It's not, and and that's what you do. That's what break to me. That's what breaking is all about. Yeah, you did, man. And I'm glad. I am very happy, that that I was able to give you the the baseball team from Georgia, and you were able to get yeah. First case Ani broke only had one not. Oh, really? Wow. See, I didn't see his first case. No, but I look from a standpoint of is like for someone like myself, could I work out a deal with my LCS and buy a case of Allen and Ginter? Sure, I could. I know I could. Um, can I sell it out if I were to try and run a break with it and sell it out at at a price where I'm not going ahead and getting killed, where I'm not losing, money. I don't know. That's good for that. He did. He definitely done did. I'm not gonna lie. I was cursing his ass out. You gotta figure something. Here's the one, that's the one, when you think about it from an A and G perspective, and you get into random, right? You get into a random with A and G, that is probably the only spot that is not gonna get traded, right? I mean, that is literally probably the only spot that is not going to get traded. Everybody else is gonna be like, "Hey, I'll trade you this team for that team, this team for that team." But the non-sports is probably the one spot guaranteed. There is no whoever's name shows up next to that. There is no sense in talking to that person at all for a trade. You know, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Why would you? Why would you go to A and G, get in an A and G break, get that, and go, "Hey, I'll trade you that for the pick out a card, pick out a team." Are you gonna do the rip and ships anymore? Wasn't sure if you mentioned that. Yes, I am gonna get back into rip and chips. Um I need to figure out the right way to do it, Maddie. You know, again, my rip and chips very different than a lot of other people's. I was not sitting there, and like I said before, if if you didn't hear, but honest to goodness, I would say I averaged maybe, it's not about money. I would do those all night long, do those on a Thursday. We'd do them for, 3 or 4 hours. I'd rip and open up, maybe 10 boxes, 12 boxes, and I may make, 25, $30. So, well, trust me, I didn't do it for the money. I just did it for more for you guys than anything else. Right. Yeah. Maddie's the only one who go ahead and say, "Hey, I'll trade you non-sport for the Cubbies so I can get a Shota rookie card." Man, that would be absolutely nuts. Now that would be an awesome break to sell out. That would be a John, that would be a fun break. Um, I don't know, again, that would be crazy. You probably won't. You turned one box into almost 12. We already turned one into two with cards to sell and trade. So you guys did a current A&G? I didn't know you guys did a current A&G. I thought I thought this was last year's A&G. Sorting would be that's one of those ones where you definitely want to do that on a Friday night if you plan on getting them out, on a decent way. Yeah, there are. Right. That's where I got screwed. My breaks were doing great when I was able to put them on eBay, and then Fanatics had to come in, make that deal, and I got screwed. I'd be doing breaks, one break a week if eBay would let me go ahead and do it, and I would sell and be able to, do. That was last year. This year we turned one into two with the potential of a lot more. Oh, did you film the one that you did? Did I miss that, John? I'm gonna have to check your channel on one of those A&G boxes. I didn't realize. Excuse me. I didn't realize that you did that. Oh, so I got you. I got you. So you bought a box from Arnie, and he opened it for you. I got you. Great. I will tell you, and Matty Ice. Oh, really? You know what? I went to my LCS today. I got a compact box of Stadium Club to open. I'm probably gonna do that tomorrow for video on Friday. I did get a couple of blasters of A&G because they had them, at a decent price. I think they were what, 20, 25, I think, a box, if I remember correctly. I have to double check my receipt. Um, from that standpoint. Bud has a WWE selling white not tomorrow. Oh, really? Bud Stoney, um is it a card sale or is it a break locking? I think, like I said, yeah. Yeah, so locking, is it a just a card sale or is it a break? I'd say I wouldn't mind doing whatnot. Okay, sales and auctions. I wouldn't mind getting back and trying to do whatnot. When whatnot first came about and everything, when Mike was involved with the channel, we jumped on a couple of times and stuff, and it was just tough because like people were asking for cards. Hey, what do you have for this player? What do you have for that player? What do you have, numbered and so on and so forth. But we'd run a Sunday afternoon, auction, or we don't, a card show, and we get five people, and all these guys and girls, they want you to start cards at $1. Well, when you have five people, you know, if you don't have at least three out of those five that want a card, you're not going to do well. You sell a lot of cards for a freaking dollar that should be five, six, seven, $8 cards. I don't mind selling a card that is should be $7 for $5, but sell a card for $7 for $1. That's tough, man. That is tough. Right. Then they all of a sudden they're gone. You know. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's you know, card auctions, card sales, breaks, and everything. Look. Let's face it. No matter what it is, it's about the audience that you have, and if you had, you know, for me, like I said, I, you know, I don't expect guys to buy multiple spots just to go ahead and buy multiple spots. You know what I'm saying? From that standpoint, say, hey, man, well, you know. I'll go ahead and I'll, buy it and close it out and buy it and close it out and stuff, you know. But again, that's one of the hard things when it comes to breaks. I mean, even when I was doing eBay, I had my baseball breaks, I never had a problem with. My football breaks, I never had a problem with the selling every single team. Basketball was the one where I would probably have maybe 3 or 4 teams, that might not sell. But, what I would do is I would open up the break and stuff, and guys that were already in the break, I was like, "Hey, these 5 teams didn't sell, you know, I'll do them $5 a team." you know, just to go ahead, and it was that honestly, that was more just to not have the cards be sitting at the house. That was more to go ahead and not have to put them in my friggin' big ass box of cards that I have no idea of what to do with. I mean, I thought about honestly getting a table at a card show and having 10-cent boxes. Yep. Yeah, Matt would get, a bunch of spots like that and everything, and I don't care. It wouldn't make a difference to me. Yeah, whatever. You want it? Fine, it's yours. You know, but breaking is it's a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, from a buying in, I don't buy in as much as I used to. I used to buy in a lot more. Um, I mean, but now, like I said, I'll let a little more picky who I buy in with as far as doing them. Like I said, I really want to, I want to get into it. I mean, to me, I don't know. I may still try and figure out how to do, if I can go ahead and if I can figure out what to do with district, and if I could get some people in there, I think that all sport break could happen. That basketball, hockey, football, uh, you know, uh, yeah, basketball, baseball, football, and hockey. I really think if I can get on a district, I could do that. I haven't seen anybody do it. Sorting nightmare, yeah, I'm pretty sure, but I think I could go ahead and get enough product together to do something to really entice people. Yeah, yep, I hear you. Well, thanks, Hunter. Thanks for going ahead and telling people to leave. Appreciate it. No worries, buddy. No worries. Um, yeah, but I think if I could get on a district and I could talk to Ben and I could talk to those guys in there, I think I could pull it off. Now, would I do it as big? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, I'd have to figure it out. But I mean, I definitely, you know, I think it would be cool. From that standpoint. I would still love to do a wrestling break. I would love to do a NASCAR break, but I don't think, again, just our community is really not into that as a whole, right? As a whole, we're not into that, which is okay. You know, if I only loved baseball, that would be awesome, but I don't. I like other sports. I like other cards. I like wrestling cards. I like baseball. I like foot. I like NASCAR cards. Do I open them enough on my channel? No, you guys see that I don't. I don't open as much as I want to of those sports. I do want to go ahead and get a few views. GPK would be pretty damn cool. How do you do it? I don't know. but there's got to be a way to figure out some way to go ahead and do it. I think Dom mentioned it earlier. That is true, my friend. That is true. Um, yeah, yeah. That like I said, I've done some crazy ass ones, man. Who do you take on Sunday? This, ooh, man. Um, where are they playing, John? Where are they playing? Are they in Pittsburgh or are they in DC? Who be the home team, homie? Um, because to me, I don't know. I To me, I think that's a toss-up game. I think the home. Okay, so the Skins are home. I would probably lean a little towards them then. I think of it. I would definitely, I think, lean a little bit more towards them. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the Steelers won, but I would lean towards the Skins just because they are at home. I think that, in my opinion, I think that is a close game. Um, from that standpoint, I think that, to me, I don't, I'm not a spread guy or anything like that, but I don't know, but I would imagine the spread would probably be close to that one. Yeah, I could definitely, like, yeah, I don't think it's a I don't, I mean, look, anything is possible, but to me, if both teams play the way they're capable of playing, I think you're looking at a very close game. And that could be a game where last team who has the ball in regulation, could be the team that wins. you know. I think Maddie, didn't they you and your American football, AFL is going on right now, the stars of the MLB. We are not talking soccer, Dom. When we talk football, and we're not talking rugby. Rising stars. Dun dun dun. Yeah, spread is even right now. That's what I figured. I figured it would be. I mean, I think both of those teams, it's a very even matchup. Um, you know, who needs it more? I think both teams need to win. Based off of when you look at the divisions they are in. Yeah, I know the I know with the Dak injury, that really is crazy. But I mean, Pittsburgh is 6-2. They're in first place, but you know, Baltimore is 6-3, so it's not like they're ahead. Washington is 72. The Eagles are 6-2, so it's not like both teams need the game. From that standpoint, you know, I mean, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Cowboys got to figure out what they're going to do. They said that with Dak. Um, The injury is part of it. The part of the hamstring has pulled away from the bone. To me, what I don't understand, if I'm Dallas, you why not throw Trey Lance out there and see what you got? Don't be starting no Cooper Rush. See what you got and say, Lance, look, you got the next. If it's going to take Dak 5 weeks, I mean, you're already, you know what, you're 9 games in. It'll take you to week 14, week 15 ish. Say, Trey, it's your team for that point. See what you have, and if you don't have nothing and you lose, at least you get a better draft pick. Doesn't pay to go ahead and figure out and end up at 8 and 9, and something like that, and getting like the 15th pick when you could suck ass and get a better pick. Yeah, the Anthony Richardson thing with them is very disappointing, Matthew. Coach sucks, owner is drugged out, and they have no clue what's happening. And you have a starting NFL quarterback who, couldn't play three downs in a row because he had a run. And what is he, 21 years old? You know. Big Jim, NFL, how's it going? Who we got? We got Ryan, Kirby, Herb, Not, Cal, Joe, Remy, Ryan, Chris Carter, and more. Yeah, you're right. I mean, with the Eagles playing Dallas, yeah, I mean, you got to figure that might not, you hate, you don't, no one, nothing is guaranteed, but, hey, you are playing a team that's in bad shape there. Yeah. And I don't know what you do, man. I mean, I don't know what you do. That's you know, you know, it sucks when you collect cards and you see that kind of crap, right? Because you think about where the value of his cards were. They did go ahead and they come down. But now let's just take the football side of it. The only thing that protects these teams nowadays is because the NFL put that, for lack of better words, salary cap on draft picks. They're only allowed X number of dollars depending on what slot they are. The salary per slot. That has saved the NFL, and it has hurt the NFL. It saved the NFL because you have a franchise now who doesn't have to just stick with a guy because they went ahead and gave him $80 million, $90 million, $100 million coming out of college, right? But so it saves the NFL from that way. It hurts the NFL because now no one cares, and they go, okay, hey, Anthony Richardson, I will take a chance because if I don't like it, I'll move on from him because I'm not paying him a lot of money. And if I suck, I'll pick another quarterback. And that's tough. When will the Chiefs lose their first game? Well, let's look at their schedule there, Jim. Denver, so they got Buffalo. They got Denver and Buffalo are their next two games. Denver is a home game, probably gonna win. They're at Buffalo Sunday. Probably Denver or Buffalo, probably the next two games. And they got Carolina. They should win. They should beat Vegas. The Chargers, that might be a tough one. They got Cleveland, Houston. They do have Pittsburgh, and they got Denver. So who knows? It's gonna be a tough one. Once they stop paying the rent. I think you're right. I mean, well, I think, Jim, I think what it boils down to this, in my opinion, do they get to a point where it do, it, are they do they get to a point where they have to continue to win, or can they afford to say, hey, you know what? We don't care what happens in the last game of the year against Denver. If we are 16 and 0, if we're 16 and 1 or 17 and 0, who cares, right? So you don't know. You're not 100%, it's not 100% sure. Where are they going to be? When you look at at the standings from that standpoint. Right now, they're doing pretty good because the other first place teams in the other divisions have two losses. So even if they were to get one loss, they still maintain home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs. To me, I think that's what it boils down to. If, let's say, Pittsburgh were to lose another game, the Bills were to lose another game, and Kansas City is still undefeated, there may be a thought process where they go, "Hey, you know what? We don't have to win. We can lose one game. We're up 3 games in the loss column for home field advantage. Let's go ahead and do it." I think it could come down to something like that. Hoosiers 9-0. Can they get in the playoffs, Matt? They did almost get beat by Tampa. Tampa, very, very surprised where they are with their record. It's not like they're a bad team, but they were four. They were 4-4 going into that game. I don't understand why they didn't go for two on that last touchdown while with the clock running with not a lot of time left. Very, very surprised they didn't go for two. Bills, Lions, Super Bowl. Bills, Lions. Why the Buffalo Bills, Jim? I get the Lions. The Lions, nice story. Why the Bills? They do. They do. The quarterback's got to stay healthy. You know. And they beat the Bengals, which isn't a bad team. They whipped up on the Cardinals, so you can't count that one. I mean, here's the thing with Washington, Jim. Their next 2 games are going to be very interesting because I got the Steelers and they follow that up with the Eagles. Um, you know, so that's going to be two. That's going to be two. When you look at the Washington though, and you say that what they have going ahead and coming up, you know, they have Steelers, Eagles, Cowboys, Titans, Saints, Eagles, Falcons, and Cowboys. There's probably only 4 tough games there. Steelers and Eagles, and then Eagles, Falcons. So you probably only have 4 tough games. Now, going against the Cowboys, that's a rivalry game. You never know you don't know what's going to happen there. So they do have a way, but a lot of it has to do schedule wise. They have had an easy schedule. The Bears do kind of suck. Night night, Maddie. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. uh Daniels again. Daniels is very good. He's really, really good. Um, it does, not gonna lie with him, um, he does scare me from a fact of is that his style of play can get him hurt. I mean, and you think about it, we can say whatever we want to say, but when you look at that style of play of quarterback, you look at Lamar, right? He plays the same type of football as Lamar. Lamar's taken some beatings. Lamar's gotten hurt. So this new style of play that's going on, these guys gotta be careful. They got to be careful, man. Yeah, but that would not be that's the unpolitically correct friggin' Super Bowl. We'll see the real commander. Yep, I agree. I think, Jim, I agree with you. I think what they do against the Eagles is their measuring stick. Yes, Hunter, I am a Mets fan, sir. Well, the thing is, Jim, it's really not. I mean, honestly, they could do it. Here's the funny thing about when you look, you look at Kansas City. Yes, they are 8-0. But when you peel back that onion, yeah, they have a pretty decent, what do you call it? You know, a differential. I mean, it's okay, but I mean, they had to have overtime to score 30 points. That's the first time that they scored over 30, Kansas City, all year long. They scored 27, 26, 22, 17, 26, 28, 27, and 30. And they had to go to overtime for that one. Their offense, to me, I don't know. I don't know if what we have seen in these first 8 games is what they are, or do they start clicking? Does what happens with DeAndre Hopkins? Will they get Mark? Will they get Hollywood Brown back? I don't know. I mean, he was supposed. I think that injury was a little worse than what they thought. They Rashid Rice. I'm not sure what's going to happen with him. With his injuries. Uh, you know, I mean, Pachenko. What's going to happen with him? He's got a broken leg, but he's supposed to come back in about 3 weeks. Again, Hollywood Brown, they have no idea. He's a little bit ahead this, but they don't know what's going on there. What? They lost Sky Moore, um, Rashid Rice, 4 months for a full recovery from a season-ending injury he underwent. So Rashid Rice is done. They can't. He ain't coming back. Anytime soon. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. You're a Vikings fan, and you're picking the Lions. What's the matter? You don't think Sam Darnold can lead you to the promised land? I tell you one thing. I would love to go to a Minnesota Vikings home game. Watching the other night what they do to, with the fans to get that game going. That stuff is crazy, man. That looks really, really cool. Really, really cool. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Ah, Ziggy No just went live. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with these teams. You know, I don't know. I don't. Sometimes when I look at the NFL and I wonder, you wonder how teams do certain things, and you just don't know what the long haul is going to be. But I tell you, the one thing you look at, um, you know, most of these teams, are an injury to their quarterback away from being horrible. I mean, not that Dak has been playing great, but we'll see now, you know, that whole backup thing, of what happens there. You know, I mean, if again, when you look at all these football teams, there's not a lot of teams who go, okay, oof. I mean, like Pittsburgh, if Russ were to go down, okay, they have Justin Fields. You go, oh, yeah, but it's Justin Fields. Yeah, but they went 4-2 with Justin Fields. Whether or not it was good, bad, or indifferent doesn't matter, right? They went 4-2 with him. It is what it is, right? If the Rams, if not the, well, hey, look at the Rams, look at the 49ers, look at the Cardinals, look at Tampa Bay, look at Detroit. If Jared Goff goes down, what do they got? If Jaden Daniels goes down for the Commanders, what do they got? If Hurts goes down for the Eagles, what do they got? You going to feel comfortable throwing Kenny Pinkett out there if you're Eagles? If you're Kansas City, you might be. Here's the funny thing: Kansas City might be in the best position if their quarterback goes down. They do have a guy that can play. They have Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is their backup. There are worse quarterbacks to have as your backup than Carson Wentz, you know? But, you look at it from the standpoint of is a lot of these teams are all one quarterback injury, away from from it not being good. And New York Knickerbockers lost once again, 8-man roster, 8-man freaking Tom Thibodeau is going to run these dudes into the freaking ground. Here we are, 7 games into the season, and all these guys are averaging big time minutes. Man, the Golden State Warriors go to Boston and beat the Celtics. Whoa. Whoa. I guess you can't complain. You look at what Atlanta did. Atlanta went ahead and played a lot of people, a lot of minutes too. I'm sure Knicks. I'm sure the stuff. The New York Knickerbockers lost by 5 teams to the basketball team from Atlanta. It's just the way it is. Although I don't care. Atlanta Hawks. I'll say their name here because I don't care. Baseball, different thing. But the New York Knickerbockers lost by 5 points. It was a tie game going into the fourth quarter. And the Atlanta Hawks go ahead and beat them by 5. And the overall number 1 pick, he goes absolutely bonkers he has the game of his freaking career against the New York Knicks. He hadn't scored more than 17 points in a freaking game. And he goes for 33. And man, dude, Thibodeau is running those boys ragged, bro. They're playing a lot of minutes. A lot of minutes. But hey, it is what it is. These guys, they got it. Brunson 33, Towns 31, Bridges 37, OG 35, Josh Hart 36. Every starter is basically, other than Carl Anthony Towns, every starter is over 33 minutes a game. Gonna be tough. Gonna be tough. What the hell is that?
We just got back from Cooperstown.
Somebody got back from Cooperstown. Sorry about that. Hey, don't forget to check out your Achieve More podcast for your listening pleasure. You do not need to, you don't need to watch it. You could listen to it where podcasts can be heard. All right, kids, it's 11:30, hour and a half, episode number 97 in the books. It's hard to believe that we are 3 episodes away from number 100. It will be the day before Thanksgiving. I'm not going to move that. I got to figure out what I want to do. Got to figure out what I want to do. But I appreciate each every one of you guys hanging out with me. Maddie, Sean, Lockin, Beast, Jim, your buddy Dommy, Hunter, anybody else that I missed. I appreciate the hell out of you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Um, we'll have a baseball video on Friday. I don't know if it's going to be Allen and Ginter or it's going to be Stadium Club. It'll be one of those two. And yeah, if I don't talk to you, have a great weekend, and see you guys at the next one. Appreciate each every one of you.